Thank you. Mr. Thanedar.
Thank you, Chairman Webster. And again, thank you, Mr. Wong, for hosting us here today in this beautiful venue. The collapse of the Key Bridge impacted all of your organizations in one way or other. What lessons, if any, can we learn from this collapse and look from a point of safety? And my second question is that do we have the right perspective in terms of our spendings, our budget, our spending on security, protecting our homeland in general? Are certain areas has a higher emphasis than other areas, and is that justified? Are we leaving some areas so vulnerable to the attacks because we are all focused on a certain different areas? So I just wanted to get a perspective from all of you on lessons learned, and how do you see the budgets and how does that impact?
I'll take the first stab at it. Great question. And first up on the bridge, we are still in the process of discovery, but there are clearly a few lessons that, right, first off. One, protective dolphins, which would have prevented or deflected the full force of the Dali from taking out the bridge, were not in place. This was based on a similar incident that happened in 1980, but yet in the intervening years, nothing was done. How many other bridges are likewise not hardened because shipping has changed dramatically in the intervening years? So there's a task that doesn't take very long to figure out that needs to get done. When it comes to priorities, which is what I really think the issue is on resourcing, it's been easier to focus on other areas. It's been easy to kick the can down the road because we had the best infrastructure, we had the best fleets. But now our competitors have caught up, and a lot of that infrastructure, the educational, for merchant mariners, and the ability for us to have that presence of the market share has been eroded. So it's time now to basically kind of get back to the gym and to get competitive again, in my mind.
Thank you, Mr. Sadler.
I'll take the next part of it. As far as it really comes down to infrastructure, that it's not just the bridges that need to be resilient, or tunnels that need to be constructed to remove those impediments, but it's also about the infrastructure of our waterways. Some of our waterways in the country are not deep enough or wide enough, and we need funding for that. I know the WRDA bill is being discussed at the T&I committee, and deepening harbors and widening them. I know Savannah is requesting a study being done for the Savannah River, and I know there's other regions of the country that need more infrastructure on as a lesson learned of what we need to do. As far as the cost and the funding goes, it's in the trillions of dollars if you look at the whole country. And what you are doing with the federal grants are very appreciative as a step for us to get moving in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one thing to come back. One of the other lessons from the Baltimore issue is the salvage capacity that we have. I think that's something that needs to be looked at, the ability to dredge as well as remove debris. We're 10 days into it. It took less time to clear the Suez Canal. So we need to do better. We do have vulnerable ports based on that question in the last session.
Thank you so much. Quick question. How should I say this? Are we more reactive to attacks and dangers as opposed to being proactive in anticipating what could happen?
I think we have been probably worse than reactive. We have been complacent for far too long. We need to get more proactive in the competitive sphere with our adversary China, because we have a lot of vulnerabilities to their economic statecraft that we need to get up to speed to. But when it comes to the threat, we were focused and fixated on a terrorist threat, a physical terrorist threat. And we need to update our framework and our approaches to look at a great power competitor. And it's not just China, it's also the Russians and the Iranians that are in this space that are harming us day to day.
All right, thank you so much. I'm out of time, so Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you very much.